Hello everyone, it's Julie from Camelia Crafts Designs. Welcome and welcome back. I'm here with another quick little Saturday make again. This is a little folio that you can literally make in 5 minutes. It's a combination of happy accident and brainwave. Yes, I do have brainwaves. They happen infrequently, but they're quite good when they do. Right, we're just messing about, trying to make a little folio, creased this in the wrong place and ended up with this. Then I thought, what can I do to fasten it? And I had a good idea, but I couldn't do it on my original because I'd glued it. So I came up with this one. Yeah, I've made that one, I've made that one, I'm going to make another one. And it's just tied with seam binding. You open it up and we've got a couple of little journal cards in. These all came from one paper collection by, is it Hero Arts? No, Heartfelt Creations. Yeah, the Daisy collection. So we've got a couple of journal cards. So it's just a quick little folio, and as you can see, the seam binding is enclosed in that pocket. So pop that one out of the way. That one doesn't have any cards in yet, and I'll show you how I made it. I've only got half my scoreboard in view because we're only going to need half the scoreboard. Because I'm starting with half a 12 by 12 sheet. You can make these any size. This is what I've made it from. So if you're starting with a piece that's 12 inches wide and 6 inches high, this is how you do it. So pop it on my scoreboard, and I'm going to score at 1.5. Use right end or you'll puncture your paper. 1.5, 6 and 10. If you want to ink, now's the time to do it. Then we're going to fold that one there. I'm going to use my bone folder to crease it. In fact, I'll move the scoreboard now because we ain't going to need it again. It really is that simple. There's all sorts of rubbish under it. Woohoo! So, crease those. My paper's not directional, so I didn't have to worry about getting it the right way up. But if you are using a directional paper, put it on your scoreboard the way up you want it, yeah, when you start your scoring. I mean, vertical ways, yeah. Right, so we've got that creased. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of inking because I don't think you get the full effect till you get some ink on. On some projects, inking just really take it to that next level, don't they? And this is one of them. I think because we've got that overlap. Yeah, so happy accident, scoring that wrong place. It's actually made a better little project than what I didn't know what to make. Now I'm making some little, I'll make some little folios, see if what comes to mind. But that's usually when it happens, isn't it? You'll think of something really cute while you're doing something else. I do anyway. And quite often mine come from getting it wrong in the first place. Right, that's all the inking done. I'll do the inside. Oh, I've got to do that edge, haven't I? Got to do that edge. If you want to put a notch in, do it now. I'm not going to do, yeah? You can make this. You don't even need any tools, really. Bone folder, you can use a butter knife. Scoreboard, you can do the same thing with a ruler and a scoring tool. And this next one, craft knife, you could also do this with sharp scissors. So this next part, this is how I've got my seam binding in. So I've got my little folio. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to make a little score line just to the left, a little cut line just to the left of that score line. Now I'm going to be using seam binding that is 1.5 of an inch wide. I can say it, I'm not really that bad. 1/2 inch wide. I know my paper's 6 inches high, so I'm going to make a little cut from 3.25, sorry, down to 2 3/4. So basically 3 is the centre, so we want to go 1/4 inch each side. And maybe a smidgen more just to make sure you can get your seam binding through that hole, yeah? So smidgen more. I'm going to turn around and do the same on this side. Just makes it look neater if you do it on the flaps rather than this part. So from just over 3 1/4 down to just under 2 3/4. I'm then going to choose which seam binding. I've used yellow on the other. I fancy using a different colour on this one. So I've got all my seam binding out. The flat is easier to thread through. Look, I've got the yellow trail in. I'm quite liking that colour. So that's the colour I think I'll use. Is it going to look as good? Yeah, I do. I think it looks good. It just matches the tips of those daisies perfectly. Right, so now fold it out so you've got it facing you. And we're going to thread the seam binding through, and it's a lot easier than you might think. I'm just going to cut the corner of this just to make sure it's not frayed, which does make it easier. A point can make it easier if you cut it at an angle. Then just press down. Can you see the little cut? If you press down as you pop that through, then when you turn it over, you'll see that poking to the inside. Make sure you've got your seam binding flat. Just wiggle it. And you want about 1/2 inch sticking through. I've then glued mine with art glitter glue. I do find it sticks fabric, particularly thin fabrics and ribbons, really well. And it's not as dimensional as the Fabri-Tac, which in this instance is a good thing. So when I've stuck that down, I've got a piece of sticky label. These are leftover pieces from my address labels that I use when I'm sending my orders. If you don't have any sticky label, just use any thin piece of paper and make sure it's stuck down really well at the edges so that when you're putting things in these pockets, it's not going to catch and snag. So that's that. Then when you fold that in, if you're making the same size one as me, the amount you'll need for your bow is just a little bit more than the width of your little folio. So then cut. Then we need to do exactly the same at the other side. So find your little cut mark. Did I? Make sure when you're cutting it, yeah, that you press hard enough with your craft knife. I've not quite pressed hard enough there. I'm not going to get my ruler back out because I can just see where I should have cut. Maybe if I got my ruler back out it would have been tidier. So pop that through just like we did last time. This is where I'll find out if it's wide enough. Yes, it is. Just. Now we need to take it down. Let's get the ruler back out just to make sure. Yes, make sure you press down hard enough with your craft knife. That's better. Most problems are fixable. There we go. That works a lot better. So again, bit of art glitter. Just stick that so well. I'll get the other half of my little bit of sticky label. Pop that on. Close it up again. Just to measure how much seam binding ribbon. You can do this with ribbon, it doesn't have to be seam binding. I just find seam binding is a little bit thinner, so it makes everything a little bit less bulky. It's always a good idea with sticky labels to give them a little bit of a burnish. I mean, you could use sticky tape and paper, glue and paper, anything you want. Whatever gives you that lovely low profile. So, we got it, that's it. And then that will tie, but before we do that, we need to glue down these. So just a thin bead. I'm using art glitter again because it dries much quicker on camera. I probably would just use PVA off camera. I'm going to test PVA on fabric and ribbon, see how well that sticks. Give them just a little bit of time to bond before letting go. If you let go too early, it'll be really baggy in the middle. My first one was a little baggier than I would have liked, but it does allow you to get more cards in. So, swings and roundabouts, pluses and minuses. Do that one first, woman, then you're not going to put your arm in it, are you? You still might put your arm in it. We are talking you. There we go. Somebody at my door, but I'm guessing my kids will answer it for me. It's the Amazon man. The Amazon man. I say kids, they're nearly 15. It's not like I'm sending toddlers to the door. Right, that's that. Now, I've already got some little cards ready cut. This collection by Heartfelt Creations has all these cut aparts in, so I've just gone ahead and cut some apart. And I'm just going to pop a few in each side. You can put anything you'd like in. Something else you could do if you wanted. Well, they went an upside down, but they're like, yeah, that'll do. You could mat something on the front. I mean, if that was inked up, I'm going to go ahead and ink it. You can do as much or as little inking on things like that as you want. I've been a bit grungy lately and I've used a lot of ink on everything. So, you could put that on. That would look quite nice. And we should just have exactly the right amount of ribbon to tie it. Now that took me, 10 minutes with waffle and mistakes and showing you the others. So you really can. I've done the others in 5 minutes. So there you go, little 5-minute folio. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you again next time. Bye.